Today we're going to be dividing polynomials, specifically using long division. So yesterday we did something like x minus 1 times something and got something that looked like this as our answer. So today we're going to take that answer and divide it by the x minus 1 to see what it was that we multiplied by yesterday. So today we're going to be undoing the multiplication. And before we get started, I want to do just a regular long division problem with you, kind of like we did a long time ago back in elementary school. You don't need to write this down, just kind of follow along. We're going to do 419 divided by 3. All right, so how many times does 3 go into 4? 3 goes into 4 one time. Then you multiply this 1 times the 3 to get 3. 3 times 1 is 3. You subtract. Then you bring this number down. How many times does 3 go into 11? It goes in 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. You subtract, and you bring the next number down. 3 goes into 29 how many times? Well, 3 times 9 is 27, and that leaves 2 left over. This is the remainder. The remainder actually goes above what you originally divided by. So if I do this in the calculator, 419 divided by 3, I get the answer 139.6 repeated. 139 and 2/3. All right, so we're going to use the same sort of a process with polynomials. I really wish that you were here in person so I could show you on the board, but I'll do the best I can with colors. We're going to do a series of cycles. The first cycle, this -1 just kind of hangs around. We're really going to focus on the x and the numbers up here to get the leftmost term that we have in this statement. So kind of we did 3 times what would give us 4. We're going to do x times what would give us x to the 3rd. So x times x squared would give us x to the 3rd. And then just like we did with our long division of numbers, we multiplied. X squared times x is x to the 3rd. We also need to do the x squared times this -1. It's kind of going to tag along, and we just have to distribute x squared times x squared times -1. That's -1x squared. What do you suppose we're going to do with these numbers? We are going to subtract. X cubed minus x cubed, those will cancel each other out. They always should cancel each other out. -x squared minus a -1. So -1 minus a -1 is 0x squared. Oof. They cancel each other out too, don't they? I didn't really want that to happen, but that's okay. Then you bring the next number down, -2x. And now let's start the cycle again. X times what? And notice I'm going to put it above where we currently are in this problem. X times what is -2x? That would be -2. We're going to multiply. -2 times x is -2x. -2 times -1 is +2. See this hole right here? Bring that next one down to fill the hole. You don't want holes. -2x minus -2x. Those cancel each other out. 8 minus 2. I know it says plus here, but there's a subtraction that you have to use for everything. So 8 minus 2 is 6. There's nothing more to bring down, so we are done, and this is our remainder. Our answer here is x squared minus 2 and 6 over what we originally divided by. That's our answer. Now what does this mean? This means if I did x minus 1 times x squared minus 2 plus 6 over x minus 1, if I multiplied this out, I would end up getting this 4-termed polynomial that we started with. So today we are undoing the multiplication that we did yesterday using long division as our method. But this right here is our answer. It's a small polynomial with usually a remainder. Okay, now there's something that we didn't really talk about. When you're doing long division or synthetic division or any kind of division, you need to check for missing terms. So see how this term started with x cubed? We then have x squared, and then x, and then a number. You need to make sure you have each of those terms. So in this next example, we don't have all of those terms. We start with negative 3x cubed. There should be an x squared term. So I'm going to put 0x squared, and then plus 4x minus 1. That missing term, you have to have a place in there for that missing term. We're going to divide by x minus 1. Now again, that minus 1 is just kind of along for the ride. You're really going to focus on the x. So x times what will give us negative 3x cubed? Well, we need the negative 3, and to go from x to x cubed, we're going to need x squared. That number is going to be multiplied to both of these, and those things are going to be written underneath. So negative 3x squared times x is negative 3x cubed. Negative 3x squared times negative 1 is positive 3x squared. Then you subtract. Negative 3x cubed minus negative 3x cubed, those will cancel each other out. If they don't cancel each other out, you did something wrong, go back and fix it. 0x squared minus 3x squared is negative 3x squared. Don't forget, both of these steps you have to be subtracting. Bring the next term down, and now we're ready to start the next cycle. The next cycle, x times what is negative 3x squared? We need the negative 3, and to go from x to x squared, we need another x. Now multiply. Negative 3x times x is negative 3x squared. Negative 3x times negative 1 is positive 3x. Now there's a really good chance I'm going a lot faster than what you can keep up with writing down. So feel free to watch a little bit, pause, write some stuff down. Watch a little bit more, pause, write some stuff down. Number 3, I'm actually going to start it and then let you try to do that one on your own a little bit more. Okay, at this point we subtract. Negative 3x squared minus the negative 3x squared, those cancel. 4x minus 3x is 1x. Bring the next term down. Now we're ready to start another cycle. So I'll use another new color. X times what is 1x? Well, just a positive 1. Multiply that. 1 times x is 1x. 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. When we subtract these, 1x minus 1x is 0. Negative 1 minus the negative 1 is 0. There is no remainder on this problem. Your answer is this stuff up here. Our answer is negative 3x squared minus 3x plus 1. Now what does this answer mean? This answer means that yesterday we did x minus 1 times negative 3x squared minus 3x plus 1, and we got negative 3x squared plus 4x minus 1. Notice this is what we started with. This is what we divided by, and this is our answer. So yesterday we multiplied to get the green thing. Today we're taking the green thing divided by the blue thing to get the pink thing that we started with yesterday. I know that's kind of confusing, so if that doesn't make sense to you, don't worry about it. The important thing here is this is your answer, negative 3x squared minus 3x plus 1. So let's get number 3 started together, and then I'm going to let you pause the video and try this on your own. First thing, check for missing terms. You may want to write that on your notes. Check for missing terms. There is a missing term here. We've got x cubed, 0x squared, minus 4x plus 6. Now on your assignment, sometimes you will start with x squared, not x to the third. On all of our examples, we started with x to the third. But like, take a look at, I guess I don't have any problems on here like that. Sometimes you'll start with like x squared plus 5x minus 2 divided by x minus 1. If you're starting with x squared, you don't have to put a 0x to the third in front. It's only when you are, missing terms in the middle. So because we started with x cubed, we need to have x cubed and x squared and x and a number. If we start with x squared, then we would just need x squared and x and a number. So look at what you're starting with and see if there's any missing terms in between our first term and our last term. We are dividing by x plus 3. Okay, your first cycle, x times what will give you x cubed. Figure that number out and then multiply it times both of these and write those answers underneath so you can subtract and bring the next term down. See if you can start this one on your own. Pause the video. Okay, x times x squared gives us x to the third. We multiply, we get x squared. We get x cubed. Totally leading you astray. X cubed plus 3x squared. We need to subtract. First term cancels. 0 minus 3 is negative 3x squared. That's the most common mistake. People see 0 and positive 3 and they put a positive 3x squared here. You have to subtract both of these terms. With long division, you are subtracting. Bring the next term down. Now you're ready for the next cycle, so I'm going to change colors. You want x times something to give you negative 3x squared. So pause the video, and see if you can figure out that second cycle. Did you pause the video? Okay, x times negative 3x, I don't want black, gives us negative 3x squared. So negative 3x times x is negative 3x squared. Negative 3x times 3 gives us negative 9x. We have to subtract both of these. The first term cancels. Negative 4x minus negative 9x, that's really negative 4x plus 9x. That should give us positive 5x. I like to have my calculator nearby so I can just type in negative 4 minus the negative 9. That way my brain doesn't have to think about it and it just tells me that it's 5x. Bring the next term down. Then you're ready for the next cycle. Now we need to do x times what will give us 5x. Pause the video, try this on your own. Did you pause? X times 5. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 3 is 15. Subtract. First term cancels. 6 minus 15 is negative 9. There's nothing else to pull down, so this is our remainder. And here's how we write our answer with a remainder. Our answer is x squared minus 3x plus 5. That's the stuff we got from up here. And then minus 9 over what we originally divided by.